Hello everybody, this is Jaap Hollander.
And this is Jan-Dirk Brobbel.
And today we are going to give you a walk around through the MindSonar user panel. This is the panel where certified MindSonar professionals can download their profiles and change all kinds of settings. So let's go there first, Jan-Dirk.
Yes, the user panel is an internet program, so we have to open an internet browser. We'll use Internet Explorer, and the address is www.mpadata.com. Here we are in the login page.
I see a number of introduction movies.
Yes, indeed.
What are those, Jan-Dirk?
Those are instruction movies for our Dutch speakers. They cover those items we are discussing right now.
Alright, okay. And so if I want to enter the user panel, I need to enter my license code and my password.
Yes.
So how did I get that password, Jan-Dirk?
If you're a license holder, we will give you the license code and a password.
Oh, okay.
So I filled in my license code and password. I'm directly in a screen with lists with new profiles, if they are, and already downloaded profiles.
Okay, so on top are the new ones, and at the bottom are the ones I've already done, and then I see three icons in front of the tests. What are those?
You can download the report as an RTF document or as a PDF document. The Excel document is a file in which only the scores of the test is shown.
Yes, for the Excel documents you use, for instance, when you have a team and you want to put all their scores in an Excel sheet. Is that right?
Yes, that's true.
Okay, so here I can download my profiles. How long does it take before a profile is shown here? Say my client finishes the test. How long do I have to wait before I can download it?
Directly after the testee has finished the test, you can download the report of the test.
Okay, so that's almost immediately.
Almost immediately.
Okay, so what else? We have some more tabs there. Project, settings and account.
Yes, of course everybody has an account, and if we go to the account you can see here your own account data.
Mm-hmm.
You can change some items in your account which are listed here, so your email address or your postal address you can change. You cannot change your license code, you cannot change your name.
So you have to carefully choose your name then.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
And if you want, you may change in this form your passwords.
Oh, change the passwords, yeah. So that's good, so you can make it a longer password or whatever if you want more security.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, and then and that's an important one, of course, is the project settings, because with the project settings you will determine how MindSonar will behave when somebody fills it out, right?
Yes. The project settings is almost the heart of your MindSonar.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's the heart, we have secured it again. You have to log in again with your license code and your password.
Okay, but those are the same that I logged in with before.
Yes.
So it's a double security,
It's
really.
a double security.
Okay.
So we have logged in into our project settings, and you can see here again a screen with a listing, and it's a listing of the projects you already made before.
So before you could have anybody do a MindSonar profile, you have to first make a project, right?
Yes.
Or use an existing project. Yeah. Okay, so let's make a new project. So say I have a team that I want to profile, and it's called Team East, for instance.
Okay, we click on the Add New Project button.
Mm-hmm.
A new form appears, and you choose a project name.
Yeah, so let's say Team East.
All right, Team East.
Right, and I have to be careful to give exactly that same name to the people who fill it out, right? Because they will have to enter that same project name
Yes.
when they arrive at MindSonar.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, there under you see the project start date, which is if you make a new project this day, so today is the 3rd of July. You can change it, of course, with a little calendar. You can leave it. And you have a project end date, which is always 20 days later, but as well you can change it with the calendar or with the drop-down box.
So what does that project end date do?
Till that day, your testees can fill in this project.
Okay, so after that date, the project code doesn't work
Yeah,
anymore.
it's expired. A testee cannot log in anymore into the test.
Right. Okay.
The next is the number of tests for this particular project. So let's say we have about 10 people.
Okay. Yeah, it's usually probably wise to do a couple of more.
Yes, absolutely.
So in case some more people are added. So
Yeah.
Yeah. So and also I understand that this end date, on the end date, you cannot make tests anymore.
Okay, then after filling in the number of tests for this project, you can choose in what language the testee can make the test.
And there, I think you can select more than one, right?
Yes,
and you
you
can
can.
choose between more than one.
Absolutely.
But if you're certain that, for instance, well, you're doing this in the United States and you're absolutely sure that there won't be any Dutch people filling it in, then you don't tag the Dutch language.
No.
So they don't get to choose the Dutch language
Yeah.
either.
And for our example, we will choose USA, UK and English. After that, we have to do the context setting. Default, as it says here, the respondent, so the testee can choose his own context, fill in his own context.
Yeah, then at some point MindSonar asks, what is the context for which we are going to determine your thinking style?
Correct.
Right.
But sometimes for bigger projects it is nice if everybody uses the same context, and for that you can choose context preferred by the administrator, the license holder.
Predefined.
Yes, it's predefined. And you saw that a new form opened and you can fill in here your own context.
So if I want everybody in the team to make their profile for the same context, for instance, working in the team or something like that, working in team.
Working in Team East, you could do.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So with that way, you know, people will all focus on the same context when they fill it out. As I've had, for instance, if I didn't do this, people would in the team would fill it out for gardening or for sailing and stuff like that.
Cycling,
and
whatever.
Of course, they didn't understand that it was all about the team. So, of course, you can explain that, but it's even easier when it's already predefined.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, there under you have the criteria input limit, which is set on 3 words default. But again, you can overrule that by clicking on the radio button, and now the testee may fill in more than 3 words.
Yes,
it's to a maximum of 40 characters. But
right. The reason why it's limited is because MindSonar makes sentences with these words, and then you know if there's too many words, then the sentences become very awkward, right?
Yes, and second reason is that we would like to have the testee filled in as condensed as possible his criteria. Then we have there under the Graves questions, which are in default enabled.
Yeah, so the Graves criteria categorization is based on the same theory that spiral dynamics is also based on. Yes. It's often called spiral dynamics, but in MindSonar it's not exactly the same as spiral dynamics. So that's why we call it Graves questions.
And next, you can add open questions.
Open questions?
Yes.
What is an open question?
An open question, well, is a question you fill in as a license holder yourself. After the testee has finished the MindSonar questions, the open questions are shown and the testee can fill in his own answer.
All right. So if, for instance, if I wanted to work with a team I might be interested in how many years have you worked in this team or something like that. I'd like to ask everybody anyway, so I might as well have MindSonar ask them. So I'm sure I collect these data. Yes,
So,
okay.
and if you want, you can add another question.
How many questions can I add?
10 open questions.
Oh, all right.
And you always can remove them, of course.
Mm-hmm.
We have added one open question. The next is the wizard.
Yes, the wizard is a hierarchy test for the criteria, right? Where the wizard asks, I can conjure up for you a whole bunch of criterion 1, but that will also result in a little bit of counterpart 2. And that way he tests whether the first 2 items of the criteria hierarchy are in their correct place. And not everybody likes that. Some people say, well, I'm not that interested in the hierarchy, and then they can switch it off, right?
Yes. And as last, you can pick a background music.
Okay.
You can listen to it if you want. So this is our standard background music.
But you can change that.
Yes. We have a pretty big list.
All right.
As you can see, we've got European, North American, and even.
Oh yeah, I see there's some ethnic music
Yes.
types. For instance, when you work with people from India, they might not want to listen to Western music, so we have some Indian options there.
Yeah.
Okay.
By default, it's on piano.
All right.
And as last, we have to create, of course, this project, so we'll click on the Create button.
All right.
And if you look now on the top of your project listing, we see here Team East. And we see start and end date and how many sessions.
And I can delete it.
If you want.
Or I can edit it.
And you can also, again, edit it. If you do that, you can edit everything except the project name.
Okay, yeah.
But here you can add, if you want, more open questions, or you can remove them. You can change the start or end date, the number of tests for this project, the language, everything you can change here.
Okay, good. Well, the thing that's most often changed, of course, is the end date, like you said, when people call you and say, "Oh, I didn't get around to it, but when I tried to fill it out, it was already closed." So then you usually, make the end date a little later so they can still fill it out.
Yep.
Okay, well, can we have a look at what this looks like on the front side? So let's say we are a testee, we're a client, and we want to log into MindSonar. What do we see, and what kind of information do we need to make the test?
Okay, a testee has to have your license code.
License code.
And the project name.
And the project. There's 2 different codes you
those
need.
2 data are the login. Okay, the testee goes to a
different
address. We'll open a new browser screen. And this is www.mindsonar.com.
Yes, okay.
And you can see this is the login screen for your testees, for your clients.
So let's log in here.
Yes, if you can remember, we had this, and we had to fill in Team East.
Yeah, so here you see it's very important to tell your clients exactly what the project name is.
Yeah.
Because, for instance, if they would put an underscore between Team and East, it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
So it's always also good to keep these project names fairly simple, so people will be able to remember them.
Yeah. Okay, we push on the login button. If you would choose more than one language, you would have here a listing of the languages, but now it's only one language for this project.
But I still have to click on it.
Yes, you do.
That's sort of strange, isn't it? But that's because it's also possible to have more languages.
Yes.
Okay.
If we do that, a new browser screen is opened.
Welcome to MPA MindSonar.
and we get a nice welcome voiceover.
All right, and then we can start the test. Okay, well, very good. This was very clear. So I hope you enjoyed watching the workings of the user screen, the user panel. Bye bye.
Bye bye.